17-year-old boy has pleaded guilty to Charlie's murder. Also in tonight's programme, how safety concerns have delayed. Hello, a very good evening to you. I'm Jo Kent. Plans to start moving asylum seekers onto the Bibi Stockholm barge have been delayed while final safety checks are carried out. The Home Office had been planning to send the first group of migrants to the barge today. It's expected to remain in Portland Port in Dorset for 18 months and could eventually house up to 500 male asylum seekers, as Ben Woolvin reports. Well, although there's no confirmation for when the first migrants will arrive on board the barge, some local people are already preparing to welcome them. Special packs have been made up by one volunteer group who are hoping to hand them over to the men, as Bryony Leyland has been finding out. The father of a 17-year-old boy who died after he was stabbed at a party in West Sussex says the family are still in shock and that life will never be the same. Charlie Cosser from Milford in Surrey died a week ago. The railway line between Guildford and Petersfield is now back open following engineering work last week. The line was... More than a dozen schools in Oxfordshire are looking for new bus services after a major coach firm ceased trading. Hayfor, the company behind plans for a power plant and incinerator at Portland Port, has begun proceedings against a decision to turn down the scheme. Power Fuel Portland. Dorset County Hospital in Dorchester has told people not to turn up to its accident and emergency unit unless they have a serious or life-threatening condition. The hospital trust... Well, there's been rain again today for some of us, and while we might wish the sun would shine so we can get out in the garden, some businesses need a break in the rain for their livelihoods. Farmers are needing drier weather to harvest crops and cut their hay meadows. James Ingham has spent the day at a farm in Berkshire today, where they're doing what they can to cope. Yeah, the forecast with Alexis coming up, of course. We're staying with matters in the countryside now, and highly organised criminal gangs are being blamed for a big rise in the cost of rural crime. The insurer NFU Mutual says they're stealing high... Now, military veterans have uncovered some exciting finds while taking part in an archaeological dig in Wiltshire. The work at Avon Camp on the Salisbury Plain Trail has some fascinating finds there. Now, it was, of course, a great day for England's women today as they swept aside China and firmly booked their place in the last 16 of the Women's World Cup as group winners as well. Well, the European champions won 6-1, and joining me now to talk about this, a bit more sports news now, and in cricket, Southern Braves women got their new 100 campaign off to a winning start as they beat... Well, from sport to a bit of culture now, and photographer Roger Bamber started his career in the 1960s when he took his student portfolio to Fleet Street and got a job right then and there on the spot. Well, in the decades that followed, he snapped a host of famous names, but also ordinary people, although his pictures of them were anything but. Roger died just 6 months ago, aged 78, but now an exhibition of his pictures has opened in Sussex. Sarah Smith has been to see it. Work of Roger Bamber there. Well, let's move on to the weather now, and Alexis is here. And of course, we've heard how it's causing chaos for the farmers and
yes.
Not looking good tomorrow.
Wet and windy through the day tomorrow. More about that in just a second. Colin Lennox scored and they captured the sun.
Wow, it sounds like a shocker. Batten down the hatches, I think.
Yes.
Well, that's all from us this evening. Tom Hepworth will have your late news at 10:30. But from us, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Good night.